1969, when I met Fela Ransom Kuti.
It's my father's music, and it's not even my own alone, it's for the whole world.
I had never met an African that was actually from urban Africa. Hollywood didn't tell me anything about urban Africa. By the time I met Fela, I had like a little bit of knowledge. I remember the first time Fela came to my parents' home, and in my bedroom I had pictures of all the ancient African kings all around the wall. And I had Huey Newton, Stokely Carmichael, and Eldridge Cleaver.
What has to change in Nigeria first is the perspective of the people towards their own land as well. A lot of people don't care about what's going on in Nigeria today, as I've said. What difference does it make? Everybody for himself, only God is for everybody. Oh my God, Nigeria is so funny. So that's what has to change. Everybody has to care. You have to care from the point where maybe when we see one policeman, there are 500 of us in the bus stop, 4 policemen are beating up one person, everybody will be looking as if it's film. Instead of saying something or trying to help your brother that is being brutalized unjustly, they're looking at the police as if it's acting film.
And the set of people that God has put together for this. Yeah, it's not one man. Everything is from Olodumare, our creator. Because, you know, it's the guiding principle.
We're representing the wives of Fela, and we're just going to represent the freedom and the mobility of mind and spirit that they represent.
Through Juno Lewis, I met that real African man that I was trying to meet. That was Fela. He was urban. He was different than any of the other Africans that I had met. And at that time, I say African men because that many women were not coming every time we met in Africa. African from Africa, they were men. The first African woman that I met was Deli. And they called her Deli Dancer. She danced with Fela. And this girl could dance too. It was different, like nothing, you would say prudish, inhibited Americans knew, because we were taught, to be reserved. And she was none of that. I mean, she was wild on the dance floor. And it started from there. That's how it started.
How did I come across Fela? Years back, my best friend, Chioma Oru, she's Nigerian, she introduced me to Fela. Not in, in person, of course.
Music.
Through music. Oh, that's so nice. The blue eyeliner.
You have all the answers in Fela's songs. No. I refer you to STB, Sorrow, Tears and Blood. Everybody, once you hear hey, as we are here now, everybody will scatter, everybody will find you, to be safe. You see, the reasons, nobody wants to die. I get one house, I no one die. My mama dey for house, I no one quest. I just born pikin, I no one go. I get some bread, I want to enjoy life, I no one die. Those are the reasons. Fela said all.
Fela and I, we would go out, we would go to jazz clubs because there were so many. He loved jazz, so we would go to all the different jazz clubs in the city, and after going to the jazz clubs, we'd stop and get some chicken and we'd go home, and his thing was sponge cake, orange juice, and the fried chicken. And we'd be up at night talking.
After 9 days of strike, 9 days, after 1 week of strike,
2 days.
everybody's screaming, call off the strike, let them increase the price, they don't care, impose whatever law. We want to go to work, I want money, yeah. You know, so the government knows that nobody is willing to sacrifice anything. So, but attitude reflects leadership. It's because of that's how they behave, that's how everybody behave. So that's how I said it. We need to change, we need to start really leaders in Africa instead of rulers.
Luckily, my dad, he used to write for Downbeat magazine. So I kind of grew up, listening to a lot of jazz, Afrobeat from all over. Was exposed to a lot of things. So it wasn't anything that was too new. Luckily.
Byron McNeish. With Fela, that was 89.
I can't quite remember, but I know that Byron had finished. Byron had finished sound school, right?
I forgot my certificate for audio engineering.
And he had worked in studios, and they just weren't treating him fair. And then something came up. I can't remember quite what happened with Fela, but I begged Fela. I said, Fela, let Byron do the sound for you. And because at that point, see, there's a whole gap in here you don't know about. But at that point, like, Fela is like my big brother, right? And I'm his little sister. And Fela agrees after I begged to let my husband do sound for him. And I think it was your first major. Yeah, it was his
first major tour.
Oh, wait a minute. What did you wait? $800 a week? Oh, $900 a week.
Yeah, it was an experience, because it was 44 in the entourage, 44 people in the entourage, 22 on stage. 2 bass, 9 horns, 2 guitars. It was a big band. But that was my first major tour where there was a sit-up bus. We traveled on a sit-up bus.
Like a school bus?
No, it was it's a tour, one of those sit-up tour buses.
Yeah, but it had the clear windows. It wasn't like a pre-bus or anything like that.
One of those buses, not like today.
Just a regular bus.
It wasn't a sleeper tour bus. Just a regular sit-up bus.
With a bathroom.
Yeah, with a bathroom.
That's the thing. Me for myself. That's what is worrying us all over Africa, not only in Nigeria, you see. So nobody wants to die. And so all of us are suffering in silence. And according to Fela again, because you cannot do without referring to it. We are all suffering and smiling.
Something with that.
It's kind of blue.
I am the reincarnation of Chief Baba, Fela and Kuti.
As I spoke to you, cannot wait. We're just trying to catch the scene out here, We see a lot of wrong faces here, man. Wrong, man. I don't know why. it must be the situation of the country, because I see some hungry faces here, man.
I can assure you, God willing, by the grace of Allah, we shall continue to fly the flag. We shall continue, to expand, and make people appreciate, particularly young generation who didn't even know who Fela was. They never saw him, not to talk of seeing him on stage. younger element. And as long as this band continues, the younger element will get educated about psychology, its music.
I say, you know, Fela wanted to be the president of this country.